the so the design program really is a proven design methodology that's evolved over the last almost 20 years, and you can see on again the DVD, the Living Architecture DVD, and in the Building on the Edge documentary, you can see and listen to some of the people who've been through the process and look at some of the houses that have resulted in that. So it's important to commit to the design program and say, okay, that obviously works and I'm going to follow it. It's largely based on the vernacular tradition, taking responsibility for who you are, taking responsibility for your life in terms of creating your shelter. And it also acknowledges this dilemma I've just pointed out, where the survival mechanism that the world currently follows, or the developed world currently follows, is actually threatening our survival. So it addresses that dilemma so that we can find essentially a way out of that. And so it's largely positive, and it's important to understand that the emotional engagement that as a consequence of this, it's important to take that into account, that it's just not a physical thing. The houses aren't just physical, they engage us emotionally in terms of who we are and our feelings and so on. So it's sort of, the sustainability agenda really brings that forward. And I think this is the big change that's happening, that the sustainability embraces these intangible qualities in life. Naturally, as you move through this, you'll meet resistances, and those actually have to be looked on as positive things. These are the places where we need to change. So finding, blockages, resistances, you have to welcome these, because these are indicators of where, we need to change our thinking or change our feeling or something like that. But the design program points us out where these are likely to occur. So the process begins really by looking at the sort of spaces and the range of spaces you need to create, and the sort of activities you want to carry on in your home. Now this will reveal a huge amount of information, and it'll be probably the most challenging aspect of the course. You can think of it in terms of a foundation. You're laying down a foundation and you're going to build a structure on top of it, and it's really the structure of your life. So you need to look at it quite carefully. And you need to look at things like options in terms of home working, in incorporating creative space in your home. It'll bring up stuff as to where your home is located. It'll bring up issues in terms of, are you going to grow some of your own food? It'll bring up issues in terms of adaptability. How can the home facilitate change in the future? Change that's imposed from outside, or change that you might initiate yourself. This is very, very important as we move into this unseen future. And of course we can't see the future at all. We can sense the future, we can set directions and so on, but we can't control what changes are going to happen. Yeah, we can initiate change, and the house needs to be able to adapt to these changes, and those changes are going to be quite profound. As oil gets very, very expensive, transportation issues will come up, and when we look at the range of spaces we want to create, we can look at the sort of floor area we're talking about, and this will bring up the whole budgetary economic issues. So you can look very, very early on in the process, how much is the building going to cost to create, and how am I going to get that money, and how am I going to pay it back, and what would be the consequences of, for example, not being able to commute. And you can look at these issues before you get deep into the actual design, so that you're all the time keeping it practical and balanced.